Hello everyone, this is Mother 13. I'm on my scooter today with my dog Babao along as my co-host. I just wanted to, what a fucking idiot. Some guy just told me to drive slower, so I'm gonna go back and ask him what he meant by that.你感觉我骑快吗？
石头会喷到人呐。
哦，石头。OK， 我刚刚骑5公里、10公里，我没有感觉快，可是。
这个石头会喷到人呐。
好。He said because it's gravel. Yeah， 我知道。可是我没有感觉会，我试试看。He's full of shit. He says I could kick up rocks that hit people. But did you see how fast I was doing when I went by the guy? I was doing like what, 5 kilometers an hour? Here's a fish dying. I don't know why they do that. They fish here, and those are, I guess they're fishing for fish to eat, but there's 2 types of fish in here. And yeah, it's just a poor child. I'm nice to him usually, but it can be a bit too much. He chases after me, and then a couple of minutes ago, I already went by here once today, and he asked me about the kid asked me about my dog, and I'm like, he's like, oh, I'm gonna go play with your dog. That's what he said, and I said, don't go near my dog because it bites. And then the kid goes, oh, it bites, and then he starts chasing after it and yelling, and I'm like, I don't know, he comes from a poor family and he's not properly raised, so you can't really blame him, but then again, maybe you can. Well, I don't know, like, just give me a break. Someone tells you, don't touch my dog, it bites, and then the kid, like, runs towards my dog, and then my dog actually growled at it and barked at it, too, and then the kid keeps on running at it, and, like, I don't know, like, all I know is that if I have children, they're gonna be raised properly. It's like, this is totally off, not what I was going to talk about, but you know how this goes. I made one time I was at a swimming spot up in the mountains, and there was this kid, similar to that child, who was just like running around and doing this and doing that, and his mother kept telling him what to do. His mother kept saying, like, don't climb up that rock, it's dangerous, and it was, and don't do this, and don't pet that, don't chase the dogs, which is also dangerous, and don't do this, and the kid just, like, 100% ignored his mother. And his mother just kept giving him commands. She just kept telling him, like, again and again, don't do this, don't do that, and the kid just keeps ignoring her, and then the mother just keeps saying, well, don't do this, don't do that, and the child just continues to ignore her. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? You don't tell a kid 10 times to do something, ever, If you tell a kid, I'd say the maximum would be 3 times, and then by the 3rd time you should be dealing out some punishment of one sort or another. Speaking of which, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that in America it's illegal to spank your children. Like, you're not allowed to hit your child at all. It's illegal in America. If that's true, that's like unbelievably pathetic. I'm not saying beat your child or whatever, but I would spank. My mom would give me a spanking about, I don't know, once every 3 months or so, like when I started to get out of control or something, or when she was just frustrated. But and in my opinion, she spanked me too little, because I was a pretty bad kid. I wasn't that bad. I wasn't that bad. I wasn't that bad. I take it back. But anyways, yeah, the point I was making, like, yeah, the mother just keeps telling the kid, don't climb the rock, don't climb the rock. Get down from that rock, get down from that rock now. Don't climb the rock, it's dangerous. You get down now or I'm gonna... And then this is the worst part. She started giving the kid ultimatums. Like, if you don't get down from that rock by the time I count to 10, we're gonna leave now and take you home. And then she, like, counted to 10, and then the kid still doesn't get down from the rock. And then what does she do? Does she take the kid home? No, of course not. She just says, get down from the rock again. You know what I mean? And then maybe like a few minutes later, she lays down another ultimatum. It was just the most pathetic thing ever. And I said, what are you doing? You're conditioning your child you're teaching your child that it doesn't matter what people say. You're conditioning your child to not listen to you. You know what I mean? You're teaching your child that everything that comes out of your mouth is bullshit. Because you tell the kid, if you don't get down from that rock on the count of 10, we're taking you home. And then you don't take him home. So your threats are absolutely meaningless. You know? It's like that with people. Forget children. It's like that with people too. Like I used to live in a house in Canada with a lot of roommates, and some of them would make threats that were just false. They'd be like, "Yeah, man, if you don't clean up the kitchen or something, I'm gonna do this," and then you don't clean up the kitchen, and then that roommate doesn't do what he said he was gonna do. You know, it was just a false threat. But back home, like I had my roommate like. In general, when I made a threat, I followed through. And my threats would be severe, too. Like, you know, if you do this, I'm going to, like, shit on your pillow kind of thing. And that's a slight exaggeration. But, for example, there was no smoking in the house. There was a no smoking rule. And then there was a no smoking rule anywhere in the house. Like, I don't give a fuck if it was in your bedroom, you know, or I don't care if you're, like, got your head stuck out your bedroom window and you're smoking. There was just a no smoking rule in the house, and it was unarguable. It was my house. It was a condo that I owned, and I had roommates that were renting from me, but I lived there also. And so yeah, there was a no smoking rule. It was non-arguable. And one time I found one of my roommates had a girlfriend who smoked, and he was allowing her to smoke in his bedroom. I think she was blowing the smoke out the window, but she was using like a can as an ashtray. And I don't think she was smoking a lot in one day, but I think over a period of like a week or two, she was using the same can, and my roommate wasn't smart enough to dump the can out. So you had this can in his bedroom that was just full of you know, cigarette butts and ashes and whatnot. And then I was in his room one day, and I saw it, or I think his door was open, and then I saw the can that was full of ashes, and I just dumped it on his bed. And then he's like, "What the fuck?" And I'm just like, "Fuck you," you know, like, you just gotta, yeah. And then it was kind of funny because it got to the point where I could make false threats, and they'd believe them, you know. And it was just funny. Like I remember one time we were going to the mall, and one of my roommates, he didn't have a car, he didn't have a vehicle, and he enjoyed going to the mall, and it was kind of far away, and he enjoyed going, and I didn't go that often, so when I did go, he always wanted to come. So one day I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to the mall in 20 minutes if anybody wants to come. Yeah, you know, I'm leaving in 20 minutes." So I think there was like three guys, there was like four of us all together, me and three other roommates. I think at one point there was like four other, me and three other guys. And yeah, so where was I? Oh yeah, so I said I'm leaving in 20 minutes. He's just driving too slow. I'm honking for the car that's stuck behind him. I see a car stuck behind the slow car, and I honk at the car in front, even though he doesn't affect me, because I just passed him in the scooter lane. But I'm honking at him to say, you know, speed up, you're inconveniencing other people. Anyways, I'll try to finish at least one story during this video log. Here comes the big bike, and now I'm going to feel like shit because I'm on my scooter. That was so funny. I waved to the guy, and he waved back. But you could see that, like, halfway through his wave back, he kind of, why am I waving at a scooter? I wave at the guy, and he instinctively waves back, but then he kind of was, like, waving his hand to raise, and he got, like, halfway, and he went, like that, like. That's funny. Anyways, okay, so I say, yeah, I'm leaving in 20 minutes. And then it's like the 20-minute mark comes, and I'm like, okay, I'm leaving. And then my roommate was like, he's like, one more minute. He just had a shower, and he goes, I'm just throwing on some jeans and a shirt. He goes, one more minute. I'm like, fuck 1 more minute. It's already fucking 20 minutes. Fuck you, I'm going. And then he comes running down the stairs in his towel, and he jumps into the car. And we're like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, you're leaving. And you're leaving without me, so I'm just, you know, I want to go to the mall. I know you'd leave without me if I tried to put on pants. And I'm like, okay. So it's kind of funny. He actually went to the mall like that, wearing just a towel. Like, he got out of the shower and he jumped in the car with his towel on, so he went to the mall. And, yeah, what was the point of all that? Oh, yeah, I remember. I was talking about children, yeah. Just, I don't know, you just got to condition your children, you know, like, if you say something, you have to follow through. If you're not going to follow through, then don't even say it in the first place. Same thing with teachers, you know, dealing with children. If I tell my children, like, if you don't do this, then I'm going to do this, then afterwards I have to do that, even if it was like a absurdly strict, threatening, you know, like if I say, like, okay, well, if you don't do these 5 lines of homework, then I'm going to give you like 100 lines of lines, you know. In Chinese we call it faxie. It's like correction writing or like punishment writing. You write something repeatedly. But in English, yeah, you just write lines, you know. If they don't do 5 lines of homework, I give them 100 lines as punishment, which is, you know, really too much considering they just didn't do 5. But if I say it, then even if I regret it, I have to do it. Because, yeah. Okay, so I guess that's the first topic. It's just, if you raise your children, you have to do what you say you're going to do, and you have to follow through with your threats.